All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Everybody Yoga with Megan. I'm your girl, Megan, and we're back again for quick conversations. I think this is the third year that I've done it, roughly. I don't know, in the fall. Just, when it strikes me, I want to share and bring information to you to help your lives be more whole and maybe offer some guidance. And so, of course, as always, I have my dear friend Mojo here, who's been helping guide my path for almost a decade now. So, Mojo, why don't you give us a quick rundown on who you are, and then we'll jump in.
Well, I'm called Mojo. My real name is Clarence Mollum. I'm a life skills coach for autistic kiddos, and I also do spiritual work on the side. I'm a husband and a grandfather, and just a regular old guy. Uh, but I do. The older I get, the more I try to give back. In my spiritual journey in my life, I had a lot of people there that was there to help me when I needed help, and so I'm at a phase in my life where I feel that I have the opportunity to give back, and I think it's important to give what we were given, and so that's where I'm coming from.
Definitely the servant's heart. I love that. So, historically, we've talked about everything from some tarot cards to what did we talk about last year? I don't even remember.
I don't remember either. I
Yeah,
should.
I should. I'm hosting the darn thing. Oh, well. Anyways, that's not what we're here about the past. We're here about the present. And so currently, you have this new tool that has taken some roots, maybe from South America, but was organically brought into your life. So tell us about the Soul Wand.
Okay. Several years, 3 years ago, I had a very close friend of mine that we worked together, and she was an artist and a professor at Texas Tech University. She passed away tragically with breast cancer. And one of the last projects we did together was we created this wand. And we
It's
have
so
called,
cool.
we have called it the Soul Wand. The very tip of it is obsidian, and you can see the points very sharp. Then it has uh, selenite in the center, and then it has a solid quartz crystal ball on the end. And we had the pieces, and we always envisioned this one, and so we put it together. We manufactured this part, and we artistically created the holder, but we wasn't quite sure what to do with it. And so she passed away, and I did a lot of shamanic drumming. I have training from Michael Horner's Foundation for Shamanic Studies. And so I do a lot of shamanic drumming. And I journeyed to my spirit helpers. And I was shown that this is called a soul wand. And it kind of freaks people out at first when you say soul, because, you're our Judeo-Christian association soul. When you talk about that, it's very private. We're very protective. And so, but this was the name that was given to me, and this is what I use it for. And so I was taught that you can open in South America, and basically I got this from the Four Wind Shamanic Energy Medicine from Alberto Villoldo, and they call it the luminous egg, and I'm sure there's a lot of different shamanic schools that call it that. And some of the ceremonial magical background that I'm from calls it the sphere of sensation, and what we call it every day is our bubble. Okay. We teach our kiddos, this is our bubble, our personal bubble. And so that's our space. That's our space. Well, in 2001, when COVID hit, we were told, stay arm's lengths away. Well, if you look at that, what is that? That's our personal bubble. And so we were like, don't come in my bubble for nothing. I mean, even your loved ones, if they had been exposed to COVID, you had to set up that boundary, and they couldn't enter your space. Well, we survived that, thank goodness. The majority of us, we lost a lot of a lot of souls were lost in that. But in the process, working with the soul wand, you can open this luminous egg, okay? And you can go in there and do chakra work. You can do energetic healing along the lines of Reiki, but I am not a Reiki master. This is not Reiki, although they probably come from the same spiritual root. And so you can get in there and start doing some work. And then you open the sphere of sensation of the luminous egg up with the obsidian, and then you do what you need to do, and then you seal it up with the crystal ball on the end. And so it's like spiritual surgery. Well, while I was working with this, and I was shown that our luminous eggs, our sphere of sensations, had begun to crust over, and what was originally considered our protective eggs became prisons. We had created this thing that was beginning to manifest physically, and what it was doing was trapping energy within our sphere of sensation. And so once I started working with more clients and opening this up, we discovered that a lot of your energy appendages, I guess is a good way to put it, the ends of them would be dead. And it would be like pruning a plant. If you have a plant that at the end of the year, you want to cut all the dead parts off so that the source is not trying to feed these dead parts, and can focus all of that energy on the live parts for healing and for health. And so once we opened this up, we realized that, not only was the potential there for attachments, but the potential there was for spiritual pruning. And so it opened a whole new chapter of the spiritual healing techniques that I was doing, and it really was honestly mind-boggling, and it still is. So we had this opportunity to really get in and look at things, and have the opportunity to remove things that no longer served an individual, even things that were healthy for us. We had to cut the parts off of it that were no longer healthy, so that energy wasn't, wasted on parts of that aspect of self that no longer served us or that was no longer healthy. And so it opened a complete new field of natural resonating frequencies between ourselves, our spiritual parts, our chakras, our luminous egg, sphere of sensations, and the natural properties of the soul wand. When you look at the obsidian, its frequency is 432 hertz, and selenite is 768, and the quartz is 768 as well. So you get these in most of our chakras. The lowest it goes is down to 432, and so you start looking at these. You start looking at the scientific aspect of it. These sound frequencies, the frequencies of energy exchange between the stones and the natural energy within us, and it's very scientific. It really makes a lot of sense. You start seeing the overlay of science supporting spirituality, and spirituality being supported by scientific research, and it's absolutely fascinating for me, the way it works, and the way it feels. When you get an individual after you've done a session, it's just the difference is night and day. They will tell you. Now, I will say, once you crack that open, a lot of times that energy, that rush of energy is somewhat overwhelming, because it's been so trapped and stagnant. It would be like opening, an old chest, that's been locked up for years. You open it, and all of this, everything comes out, and it's there's some pretty nasty bits to it. Absolutely. Even though they're all natural.
Imagine, like, in my vision, what I'm seeing is like when you shake a Coke bottle and then you let it go and it just comes out. Like, I feel like the past few years, there's been so much happening, so much change, so much energy, that there's like chaos inside, waiting to have somewhere to go. I don't know.
Very, absolutely. It's almost like and that's probably, well, I won't go there, but it would be like a wound, okay, that you had to open up to get the poison out, which is a very unseemly image to have in your head, but that's the natural truth. If you keep that poison within, it's just going to slowly spread and poison everything.
Poison everything.
And so you release that, and that's a necessity for healing, which is what we're so desperately in need of. And once we crack that shell, then we can reconnect to one another. We have lost that connection through COVID and through electronics. There's a lot of things. That was like that was when it came to a head, and everything, we lost it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it was a natural progression, and it's a natural cycle. It's happened before, and it'll happen again. Hopefully not in our lifetime. We've had enough lifetime events, right?
I'm good. I'm
okay.
I'm Gen X. I'm the generation that's had nothing but like lifetime events. I'm good.
But it is important, I think, to address these things and look at them from an energy dynamics, and what can we learn, and how can we heal, and what lessons are deeper in these, these spiritual lessons, these mental lessons, these emotional lessons from these physical things that happen, and how the physical world overlaps with emotional, spiritual, all of the realms connect.
Are you noticing a trend? Like, do most people, like, is there a trend on most people have this pruning of lack of attention, or like a theme of
there's a lot
areas that need
there's a
love.
a lot of heart that you have to, that seem to be way overgrown. Your root chakra, because there's not a lot of physical connection. The voice seems to be pretty steady. The throat chakra really seems, I guess, because we've used our voice so much, and the third eye, it's pretty open, and the crown, but it seems to be the lower extremities that seems to have the most issues. And one of the things is, a lot of people feel like they have attachments when they really don't. What's happening is that stagnant energy that hasn't been released.
And so when you say attachments, it makes me think of like cutting cords, like when you're like, okay, I'm not dealing with this anymore. We're done. Energetically, I'm done with this. So you're saying maybe that attachment is not there, but the energy block is there.
Yes, it feels the same in the physical manifestations are the same. They can be very, very close. So a lot of people that do feel like, okay, I'm having a series of bad lucks, or things are happening, and I really need to move. I need to cut these and move beyond, release this. That's not what's happening. Now, don't get me wrong. There have been situations where there were attachments that needed to go, but with a combination of the two, it really seems to support healing in a much, much progressive way.
So if I'm not lucky enough to have someone like you with a soul wand that I can pop in and visit, is it possible to try to perform this spiritual surgery on my own?
I don't see why it wouldn't. The thing that I would say is, if you're going to use an obsidian point to open your sphere of sensation, with the selenite, you don't have to cleanse it. When you're opening that, and that initial rush, it gets it pretty nasty. Okay. And I would suggest that if you did that, to do extensive research on how to cleanse that, to release any negativity, anything associated with that, fears, past and future, negative events, trauma, things like that, because so much of that is there. And the same thing when you seal it up with quartz crystal, you would probably need to do a different form of cleansing. Mm-hmm. The good thing about this is the selenite absorbs all of that energy, and then you don't have to really worry about it, other than I keep it wrapped up and in a special place. But I haven't really ever had the need to clean it or cleanse it, because it It's almost self-containing.
Self-cleaning. Yeah.
Plus, I think anytime you use something, and I don't consider this a tool, Megan, I consider this a spiritual ally in my spiritual journey. Uh, like with my tarot decks, those are allies that have chosen to work with me. And I respect that and acknowledge that, because it doesn't have to work. You know, uh, it could be just a stone. It's the intention that goes behind it, and the respect and honor that goes with it. Uh, so I think anybody could do that. I think it might be a little more complicated, but it absolutely could be done. Uh, I have never done it to myself. Now I do have someone that works with me, and we have done it to each other. So I don't know how that dynamics would work out.
Yeah.
It
Well,
might.
you almost need that other energy there. The whole point is to break the energy free. And if we were able to do that on our own, we probably would have already done it.
Right. Well, I think some people are doing that. I think the awareness is coming around that's a reality. I don't think the awareness was out there. I don't think people understood that our luminous eggs were crusted over. I didn't know that. I had no idea. But once that was shown to me, made perfect sense. You're like, it's one of those aha moments.
Well,
And I
just the
know
idea of being so separate when everything is an energy exchange. That's why people love live music. That's why we go to the theater. There's energy in the room that you can
and we
feel, and
couldn't
it's
do any of
palpable.
that. We couldn't do any of that. All
Yeah.
of that was taken away from us.
Yeah.
On a live basis. We're
Yeah.
true energy exchange. And you had mentioned earlier when we were talking before the show, if someone needs to be cognitive and receptive to this to work, all of the clients I've worked with have been, but I do believe that the possibility exists if someone was in a coma, that if their family agreed to it, and if they were spiritually open and progressive individuals, that this could work for them as well. Because you would be opening it up. Although when we do it, we open the front and the back. We do it three
The
dimensional.
full.
You could do it. It would be, you might have to roll them over, or you might have to do it on a limited basis. You might have to do it simply from the front, or I know in certain COVID situations, they would put you on your stomach. Now you probably wouldn't be able to get in there with a COVID patient, but there are some medical situations where you would have to be on your stomach. So I don't know. I think it's a possibility. I think it would have to be situation specific.
So definitely different from cutting cords, in that the whole point of cutting cords is my subconscious is talking to your subconscious, and you don't even have to know I'm doing it. And I'm waking up at 3 a.m. and I'm saying to your spirit, please let me go. So this is not the same. This is I, Megan, am asking you to come and help support me in removing the shell from my luminous egg, so my light can shine and my energy can be healed.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But now, if you do need to cut a cord, you're not able to do that anymore unless your sphere of sensation is opened.
Is open. Yeah.
And so a lot of people think they're doing that, and they're not.
Yeah.
So they're not as successful. And so you see a level of frustration and a level of doubt. I'm not capable of doing this.
Yeah, I felt like I've lost my connection to spirit. I can't hear the way anymore. I can't see the way anymore. I personally really struggled with that the past couple of years. And it was only this February, March when I was like, wait a minute, I am out of integrity with myself. What is happening here? And that I was able to make those steps.
Well, I think, too, since this is an evolving process, I mean, this is the learning curve. With time, those crustaceans may, organically dissolve. I don't know, because I've never experienced this. I would like to think so. But I think this speeds the process up a little bit. Now, I think with intention, you could probably do this with just energy. I do think it would take a lot of work. I do think it would take a lot of energy. It might take a collective consciousness. If you did it in a group setting with drums and noise and sound and song and
That vibration.
absolutely, because it is a frequency, definitely a frequency. I mean, we've seen that frequencies, if it's the right frequency, can break through certain things, and I think it's absolutely possible for that to happen. I don't know how you would do it. This is, like I say, a learning curve for me, and I think it's a learning curve for all of us. With the spiritual community, so yeah, it's pretty exciting and extremely interesting, and humbling. I mean, because I've never experienced anything like it, and hopefully won't again on
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
level, so yeah.
So if somebody wants to find you to be able to book a
We lost sound.
Okay, well, my goodness, that was ridiculous. But we're at our 20 minutes, so my little timer went off. If somebody wants to find you to book with you, how do they do that? And does this have to happen in person or can it happen virtually?
It has to happen in person, and you can look on Tarot by Mojo, which is my Facebook page, and I do all of my booking and scheduling there. Or you can find my phone number on there, and you can call me or text me, and we can schedule an appointment. It needs to be done physically. I mean, you can't do that like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
It's old school energy exchange, creating sacred space, exchanging energy, and working from that standpoint. And so, very shamanic in intention, and very primal, very basic. Just like the disease was. We get back to the roots of where it all came from, and to harm, you have to learn to heal, and to heal you have to experience harm.
Some harm, the balance. The universe loves balance.
Absolutely. Woo. Absolutely. That's the lessons we learn. That's how we learn. That's how, I've learned more from making mistakes than I ever did by doing things right. So
I got to tell you, when I was in my darkness, I thought, man, it'll never get better. This is it. This is my life. And now I'm on the other side, and I'm like, I'm grateful for the darkness, because as bad as it was is as beautiful as it's become.
We wouldn't know beauty without ugliness.
Exactly. Well, I love your energy and your time, and thank you so much for sharing. Very quickly, we have Ashton on Adventure says, love the concept of pruning a plant and spiritual pruning. So yeah, it's, whatever metaphor works for you.
And if anyone wants to visit about it, if they've had a similar experience, shoot me a line on my Facebook page, and I would love to visit with you, because I know I can't be the only one that has been shown this and has been working with this. So yeah, I would love to hear from you.
Yay, wonderful. Well, Mojo, as always, I love you. Thank you. And to everybody out in internet land, thank you for watching and tuning in. Next week, we have Rachel. She will be talking about I Rest meditation and those benefits. And until next time, have a beautiful day. Namaste.
Thank you.